I never liked driving at night, but that day I didn't have a choice. I had stayed late at a friend's place, and by the time I finally got on the highway, the sky was already dark. The road was long, quiet, and almost empty. Even the radio wasn't helping. Everything just felt off. As I drove deeper into the highway, I noticed something strange. The darkness felt thicker than usual. My headlights were bright, but it still looked like the night was swallowing the light. I tried to ignore the feeling, but a part of me kept looking at the rearview mirror, expecting to see something behind me. The first sign that something wasn't right came when I felt a cold breeze inside the car. My windows were closed tight. The AC was off, but the air suddenly felt like it had dropped to freezing. It brushed the back of my neck, slow and icy, like someone's cold fingers were touching me. I shivered so hard I almost swerved. I whispered to myself, "Relax, you're just tired." But I didn't believe it. I kept driving until I reached that long stretch near the old broken bridge, a place people always warned others about. They said strange things happened there at night, but I never believed those stories until that night. Up ahead, on the right side of the road, I saw a figure walking slowly. At first, I thought it was a traveler or someone whose car broke down, but something wasn't normal. The person was wearing something long and white, and it looked dirty, torn, like it had been dragged on the ground. The closer I got, the more uncomfortable I felt. The figure wasn't walking normally. It was swaying, like its knees were bending the wrong way. My heart started pounding. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, trying to stay calm. But when my headlights finally reached the figure, my stomach dropped. The figure stopped walking. It just stood there, facing away from me, body stiff, head slightly tilted like it was listening to something far away. The road was too narrow for me to swerve around completely, so I slowed down to pass carefully. But then, the figure turned its head toward me. Slowly, too slowly, like the neck was made of stiff wood. I couldn't see the face clearly because the hood covered it, but I felt the eyes. Cold, empty, like they had been waiting for me. My heart started racing. I tried to speed up and pass quickly, but right as I got closer, the figure stepped onto the road, directly in front of my car. I hit the brakes with everything in me. The car jerked, tires screeching, the seatbelt slicing across my chest. My breath got stuck in my throat. The figure stood at my bumper, unmoving, silent, facing me like it was deciding something. The hood still covered the face, but the body language didn't feel human. It stood too still, too stiff. I swallowed hard and reached for the gear to reverse. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Then it raised its hand, slowly, not to wave, not to ask for help, but as if it was pointing straight at me. My headlights flickered, once, twice, then dimmed for a second as if something was draining the power. That's when I felt the cold again, stronger, crawling down my spine. The figure took one step forward, then another. My chest tightened. My fingers felt numb. I realized I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe properly. I was trapped inside the car, watching this thing come closer and closer. And then, it stopped right at my window. I could hear it breathing. Slow, deep, wrong. And I swear, something touched the glass. The moment I heard that slow breathing at my window, my whole body locked up. I couldn't even blink. The breathing didn't sound normal. It had this strange dragging sound, like its lungs were filled with thick water. Each breath fogged a small patch of my window, slowly, in and out. I finally forced my eyes to move, and when I looked to my left, the figure was standing so close that the cloth it wore brushed against my door. The white fabric looked worse up close, muddy, torn, and stained with something dark at the bottom. The hood covered the face, but the shape underneath wasn't smooth. It was uneven, like the face didn't have the right structure. I whispered, "Please, please." I don't even know who I was talking to. God, myself, anyone. My hands were shaking hard, but I reached for the gear again, trying to put the car in reverse. The moment I touched the gear stick, the breathing outside suddenly stopped. Complete silence. That silence was even worse. It felt heavy, like the air was pressing down on my chest. I kept my eyes on the window, terrified to look away, but also scared to keep looking. Then, slowly, very slowly, the figure lifted its hand and placed it on my window. The glass made a soft cracking sound under its touch. Not like it was breaking, but like something cold had hit it. My heart sank. The hand didn't look normal either. The fingers were too thin, too long, and they bent slightly in the wrong direction. My breath caught in my throat. The figure leaned closer, pressing its hood against the window. as if trying to look inside my car. I still couldn't see its face, only darkness inside the hood, but the feeling was worse. I could tell it was staring right at me, studying me. Then it did something that made my whole body freeze. It dragged its finger slowly across the window. A long, slow scratch. The sound went straight into my chest. I felt tears burning in my eyes, not from sadness, but pure fear. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. My mouth wouldn't move. I tried to hit the horn, hoping the noise would scare it away. When I pressed it, the horn didn't make a sound. The car had power, but the horn was dead. I hit it again, nothing. My lights flickered once more, this time longer. That's when I noticed something else. In the rearview mirror, another figure was standing far behind my car. Not moving, not walking, just standing in the middle of the road. My stomach twisted. There were two of them. I blinked hard, thinking maybe I was imagining it. But when I opened my eyes again, the second figure was closer. A few steps closer, like it had shifted while I blinked. The one at my window slowly tilted its head, as if it knew I had seen the other one. My chest tightened. I checked the mirror again. The second figure was even closer now, and this time, I could see its shoulders rising and falling with the same horrible breathing. Two of them, one right at my window, one closing in from behind. My hands went cold. My legs felt weak. I realized I had no idea how to escape. And then, the figure at my window did something I will never forget for the rest of my life. It leaned forward and whispered something. The voice was low, broken, like a whisper made of sand scraping against metal. I didn't understand the words, but the sound alone made my skin crawl. I forced myself to grab the steering wheel with both hands. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know where to go. I just knew I had seconds before something terrible happened. The whisper at my window broke me. I knew if I stayed one more second, I would die. The figure's cold, twisted fingers pressed on the glass, and another one was moving closer behind my car. I panicked and slammed the accelerator. The car shot forward, throwing the figure back. I didn't look in the mirrors. I just drove. Behind me, something screamed, a sound that wasn't human. After a few minutes, the cold feeling left, and everything went quiet again. I reached a fuel station shaking. When I stepped out, I saw the window. Those fingerprints, long, thin, and not human at all. The workers saw them and whispered, "No one drives that road at night."